Hi Internet, so yeah, let's start. Death comes after everybody, and needless to say, kings and queens die too. The only difference is the way they die. Just like Louis III of France chased a girl by riding a horse in his castle, and rode through a low door, hitting the door stalk with his head, and dying instantly at just 18 years old, in 882. But that wouldn't be as weird had it not been for the fact that 600 years later, a different French king would die the same way, only without the horse and the girl. Charles VIII, also called Charles the Affable, ran to watch jeu de paume, basically tennis, in his court, hitting his head on the door frame, and a few minutes later dropped unconscious, dying some hours later in 1498. But if you thought that was unexpected, you didn't hear about the King Edmund Ironside, who was killed in 116 on a toilet. No kidding, the assassin actually waited below the toilet and impaled him where the sun don't shine, escaping immediately. The king died of bleeding, so yeah. Okay, speaking of the toilet, the first plunger was invented in 1874 by a New Yorker named John Hawley, who worked at a candy factory, and the same exact factory years later produced M&Ms. The plunger product was marketed as Force Cup, and of course we today call it a plunger, since to plunge means to jump into water or push something. But do not push shampoo into your eyes, as your eyes will burn since the zygomatic or lacrimal glands are very sensitive to pH changes brought on by the shampoo. Eyes also hurt when tired, since the muscles around the eyes tire and need rest, just like any muscle in your body. And this very perspective you are currently seeing, only you will ever truly see. Nobody else ever will. Just think about it. And enjoy it, just like humans enjoy music. Frisian or aesthetic chills is the name that describes rewarding feelings when listening to music, having three main symptoms: paresthesia, skin tingling, piloerection, goosebumps, and mydriasis, pupil dilation of the eyes. And the goosebumps actually got their name, as that is how the goose's skin looks like after its feathers have been plucked. Anyways, pupil dilation is associated with stress and also with pleasure. And speaking of the eyes, eyebrows, eyelids, and eyelashes have special functions. I mean, just look at their names. Eyelids, eyelashes, and eyebrows. Brow, by the way, means forehead. Hence the phrase like highbrow society and etc. Eyelashes protect your eyes from dust and smaller particles by catching them, just like eyebrows keep the sweat from your forehead from getting into your eyes. Neat, right? I is actually the 9th letter in the English alphabet. And why is it said that cats actually have 9 lives? Well, that comes from an Egyptian creation myth, where the sun god Ra took the shape of the great tomcat, or also called Mao, and visited the 8 other gods in the underworld, thus representing 9 lives in one. And much later, an Old English proverb was formed: a cat has 9 lives. For 3 he plays, for 3 he strays, and for the last 3 he stays. And it definitely does make sense that they are taken as stubborn to die, since they are basically made not to die from anything, basically. They have sharp claws to climb the trees. They have smaller weight, making the force of falling smaller. They also have high flexibility in their bones and joints. They have the so-called writing reflex, or labyrinthine writing reflex, a reflex correcting their body position while falling. But of course they do have some weaknesses. Milk. Cats are actually lactose intolerant and have a diarrhea when they drink milk. It is just a myth that they drink it. Instead of milk, just give them water. And cats were kept as sacred in Egypt, as the Egyptians believed that cats brought luck, and were kept in their houses, clothed, given jewels and fed. Like damn, cats actually lived better than humans in Egypt. And for all sacred things we have anniversaries, and when the famous anniversaries come, we travel, usually by plane. That's where airports come in. And fun fact, some airports are known to sell lost luggage, and those guys who wave and direct planes, yeah, they are actually called marshallers, and have to do so-called marshalling signals, to tell the pilot what to do and what not to do. And everyone you see at the airport will be within 1 hour, 1,000 kilometers away. And when the plane lands, do not clap. Save your energy for something else. We actually never stop clapping. The pauses between claps just get longer and longer, until one day you take your last clap, but you probably won't even know it. The same will go for your last decorated Christmas tree. So decorate the hell out of it. It may be your last. Well, this is too sad. So let's talk about something else. Like how we put cut trees in our houses and put shiny colorful things we call decorations on them each year at the same time. Well, the word decoration comes from Latin decor, and decor from de and cor, meaning from the heart. Just like the word courage comes from the Latin word for the heart, cor, courage. An opposite of courage is being a coward. And the word coward comes from Latin coda, meaning a tail, since a tail bent downwards signaled that an animal was scared. Speaking of animals, the first ever vaccine was made by Edward Jenner, taken as the father of vaccinology. Anyways, in 1796 he gave the first vaccine to a 13-year-old boy with the Vaccinia virus, basically cowpox, so he developed the immunity to smallpox. That's actually the connection between vaccines and cows, as the word for cow in Latin is vacca. And the country with most cows is China, but is only the second at the number of planes, where the US has the most planes in the world. The first plane was flown on December 17, in the year 1903 by Wright brothers. One of them actually said that it would take around 1 million to 10 million more years to develop a perfectly flying plane. But little did they know that the first helicopter was made in 1939 by Igor Sikorsky in Connecticut, and in 1961 Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin became the first person in space, as he orbited the Earth in a Vostok spacecraft. He was actually a cosmonaut, but what is the difference between a cosmonaut and an astronaut? Well, a cosmonaut is somebody who was trained by the Russian Space Agency, and astronauts are trained by NASA, ESA, CSA and JAXA. So it's an American-Russian thing again, I guess. Russia is the biggest country by area, having an area of 17.1 million square kilometers. And the most mountainous country is Bhutan, but that is not to be mixed with the gas butane. Bhutan is actually a world on its own, having no street lights and making every tourist pay a fixed amount of money to travel there, and only a specific amount of tourists can come in. Education and healthcare are free, and it is the only carbon-negative country, absorbing more carbon than producing it. Also, the country was completely isolated until 1974, and they got a first TV in there in 1990s. And the flag? Well, the country is known as the land of the thunder dragons, Druk Kul in Bhutanese, and the dragon on the flag is holding jewels, as he represents national wealth and perfection. It's a custom to refuse unoffered food for the first time, and the national sport is archery, and these guys have actually never been conquered, like, ever. Way to go, Bhutan. And they also have phallus graffiti everywhere, since they believe that phalluses bring good luck and fertility, and scare away the bad spirits. And the singular of graffiti is graffito, coming from Greek graphene, meaning to write or draw. Just like someone else will draw and write on tombstones. Tombstones are basically the ending credits of our lives, starring only ourselves, as we are the main protagonist in our own little movies. We think we are the main characters, where in reality almost everyone has the same view on the world, thinking they are the main character, living in their own little sphere and bubble. Anyways guys, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Ciao!